Indian theatre and Natya Shastra, according to me, is our folk tradition. You see, folk tradition is the one tradition which has been live and continuous for almost the entire medieval period, as they call it. So, if we have to look for a special Indianness in acting, we have to look for our various folk forms, but also amongst our contemporary traditions and find Indianness. If we don't do that, what happens is, for example, we seem to think that doing mudra is Indianness, or doing Bharatnatyam is Indianness, or doing some thing is Indianness. That is because of this. Actually, Indian theatre is in a confused state of mind. If you look at the last, let us say, 5-6 decades of Indian theatre, the confusion is, are we following Brecht? Are we following Stanislavski? Are we following the absurdist theatre? Are we following Grotowski? This sort of questions are asked. We have not asked the question about what is Indian with Badal Sarkar, what is Indian with Ibrahim Alkazi, what is Indian with Habib Tanveer, or what is Indian with some of our great actors who I cannot name because there are so many in so many Indian languages. This question of Indianness is especially important in the post-COVID situation. What is the post-COVID situation? The post-COVID situation is going to be a situation where we will have to become smaller, not bigger. We have to become simpler and not complicated. We have to become regional and not international. We have to become not so much technologically driven, but humanly driven. This is what environmentalists are saying, this is what scientists are saying, and this is what politicians are saying, this is what Gandhiji said, and today there is no choice. In Gandhiji's time, there was a choice. For example, after independence, Nehru told Gandhiji that Gandhiji, आप बहुत महान हैं, पर मैं आपके रास्ते में पूरा नहीं जा सकता हूं, मैं थोड़ा अलग हटकर जाऊंगा. So Nehru actually moved a little away from this thing because at that time such things were possible. For example, he talked of middle economy, the mixed economy. It was possible. But today, what has happened is either we have the monster economy or what I call the sacred economy. So today, either we have the monster theater or the sacred theater. What is the sacred theater? The sacred theater is what all our Shramajivi log, the laboring classes, the poor people of the villages have been performing. They have been performing with only their body, with only their talent, with only their place, and a little bit of makeup on their face, a little bit of costume to wear, and they're performing. What is the space they use? The space is sometimes as small as 10 feet by 10 feet. Yakshagana, for example, can be performed in about 10 feet by 10 feet space. They don't need lights. They can even do it with natural light, and people from Kerala, I don't have to tell you, even now in Kutampalams, they do it with natural light. And These theater, apart from the actor, there is nothing else. So Indianness, for example, concentrates only on three things. It concentrates on the actor, it concentrates on the play, and it concentrates on the audience. All three are there in abundance in India. Wherever you go, whether you go to Kerala, whether you go to Bihar, whether you go to Punjab, whether you come to Karnataka, if you do a play, even in a small village, 2,000 to 3,000 people are willing to come and watch our plays. But what happened was, in the last few years, because of this confusion, because we did not know whether we are Indians or foreigners, whether we are followers of Stanislavski or whether we are followers of this, what happened was we gradually lost that audience. Those audience moved away, and unfortunately, they moved away to cinema and television, because cinema and television was giving them at least gods and goddesses and stories and and various things, and they imitated the formula of folk theater and continued from there. So contemporary actors in the post-COVID situation will have to really look inside and tell the rest of the world that, sir, please come and learn Indian theater. We will have to tell American actors. We will have to tell Swedish actors, Polish actors, and tell them that here is a method which is an excellent method. We will have to tell them that even Stanislavski, recent research has unraveled that Stanislavski was seriously trying to practice yoga and use yoga as a tool for body exercise for his actors. This is something which has been revealed recently, because till now that was completely suppressed. Stanislavski, it seems, was very fascinated by this word prana, the breath. Stanislavski, in training his actors, has used a lot of breathing exercise inspired by the Indian method. If you want to know more about it, you could talk to some of the experts in Soviet literature and all that. For example, Kalpana Sahni, Bhisham Sahni's daughter, has done a lot of research, and recently she actually gave a webinar on Stanislavski and how he was very inspired by the Indian method. After Stanislavski comes Bertolt Brecht. Very interesting. Bertolt Brecht could not even see an Indian play. He had seen a Chinese play, and he was grappling with this extremely naturalistic theater that had engulfed the entire European community and European theater, and he was trying to break away from that. When he saw this Chinese opera in Berlin, he realized that this is the way out. Here was a Marxist. Here was an avowed Marxist, Bertolt Brecht. He sees a Chinese opera, Eastern traditional theater, and he realized that it was so flexible, the narrative was so flexible, acting was so flexible, and actors were so brilliantly able to do all three things. They could render lines, they could sing, they could dance, they could do acrobatics, all of it they could do hardly with any state support or anything. So Bertolt Brecht develops his entire theory of what he called alienation. Alienation, I think he used a wrong word. It was because of the ideological this thing that he used, alienation. His theory actually, I don't think is about alienation, but about connecting the two aspects of theater. What are those two aspects? The real space on which actor performs and the magical space into which the actor has to transit. मतलब जिस भूमि पे एक्टर काम करना है, स्टेज वो रियल है, और जिस आकाश को पहुंचना है, मैजिकल आकाश, वो एक है. ये जो भूमि और आकाश के बीच में एक्टर्स मैनेज करते हैं ना, that is what fascinated Bertolt Brecht. Bertolt Brecht realized that the European actors had lost this capacity to navigate between the real space and the magical space. And Bertolt Brecht, in his own way, in his Caucasian Chalk Circle, in his Threepenny Opera, in his various other plays, tried to regain narrative, regain the magical space, even though he was a Marxist, and tried to do it. After that, you see, first is Stanislavski, and then it is Bertolt Brecht, and then comes Grotowski, for example. We, unfortunately, most of us have not understood the significance of Grotowski. The significance of Grotowski lies in the fact, you see, we have to understand Grotowski in the European context. In the European context, where the theater had become hopelessly technologically driven, where the theater had become hopelessly Kamani auditorium driven. I'm using the Kamani auditorium as the, the big auditorium, the big lights and all that technology, to the body of the actor. And he was, after all, he was from a tradition which was a Catholic tradition, and Grotowski moved away from a materialist world to the Catholic world. Grotowski finally actually became a very, very deeply Catholic person. And all his experiments with the body is something which is in the context of the European theater. Unfortunately, what we did was we started imitating Grotowski. We Indians who had already knew how to manage our body, we Indians who already knew how to manage the magical world of theater, we Indians who already knew how to sing, dance and lines and perform without a Kamani auditorium, without lights and all that, we should have respected Grotowski for what he did in Europe and picked up some of those exercises for us, which like Badalda did. Badal Sarkar took some of those exercises and converted it into training methodology for Indians. The greatness of Badal Sarkar is in taking Grotowski's idea, taking the ideas of various American directors who were going back to the body and converting it into an Indian situation. We also should do that now. We should, of course, go back to our body. Look at, for example, Badal Sarkar's earlier play. The name of that play is, what is that? Evam Indrajit. I am Indrajit. This is a middle-class fellow standing on stage, saying the lines. There is a backdrop of, middle-class set, and he is saying, I am the greatest Indrajit. Badal Sarkar realizes that this Indrajit has become so sterile because he cannot sing, he cannot dance, he cannot act, he cannot become magical. And so Badal Sarkar actually deconstructed himself from Evam Indrajit down to the thing. Or take Al-Qazi, for example. Ibrahim Al-Qazi, one of the greatest teachers, one of the greatest nation builders. Ibrahim Al-Qazi is a nation builder, because any nation has to have a national theater. And when he was asked to become the director of the National School of Drama, Mr. Al-Qazi realized that he had to build a national theater. And let us not forget, it was Mr. Govardhan Panchal, under the leadership of Mr. Al-Qazi, who started research on Kuttampalams, on the Kerala theater. It was Mr. Al-Qazi who started work on involving folk theater into productions, Mitti Ki Gaadi, for example. I was a part of that production. Mr. Al-Qazi's production of Mitti Ki Gaadi was an effort at finding Indianness. Or, for example, it was Mr. Al-Qazi who brought for the first time a Kabuki director, Professor Sozo Soto, and made him do a production for the National School of Drama. It was Mr. Al-Qazi who got Shivram Karant to come to the National School of Drama, use Yakshagana, and perform on a complete production based on Yakshagana. It was Mr. Al-Qazi who brought Shankar Pillai and Kavalam and all those people onto the board of the thing and various things. Even before that, take for example Shanta Gandhi. Now Shanta Gandhi, again a leftist from IPTA, what did she do? Did she just go on slogan shouting? Did she go on holding hammer and sickle in her hand and perform productions in Kamani? No. She went back to our folk tradition, but did not do folk theater. She tried to get the dynamics of Indian theater from the folk tradition and produce that masterpiece of the work called Jasma Odan. Now, I don't know how many people here have seen Jasma Odan. I have seen Jasma Odan, produced by Shanta Gandhi. It is a scintillating production. Absolutely first-rate production, brilliant acting, brilliant this thing, and probably the entire production cost not more than 10,000 rupees. Or for example, take the great German director who kept coming to India for 30 years, Fritz Benewitz. I think Fritz Benewitz understood Indianness and Indian method in acting better than most of the so-called Indian theater directors. Because the Indian theaters were, as I always say, they were in Delhi and they were facing the international airport. I mean, I have been joking about it, that National School of Drama is looking towards the international airport. The most of the theater directors, not all of them, some of them, when they were doing that, this old man came 30 years, he came to India again and again. He worked in the villages of India. He worked at the National School of Drama. He worked in Ninasam. He worked in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bengal, with actors who were Dalits, who were students. And if you have seen any of his good productions, memorable productions, you realize that it was basically a first-rate expression of Indian theater as contemporary theater. For example, one of the first productions, probably the first production that this man, Fritz Benewitz, did was the Marathi production of Caucasian Chak Circle, which he had done with Tamasha actors. Now, I don't know whether you know that traditional Tamasha actors are actually Dalits or craftspeople who work as chamars and chappal makers and or carpenters and all that for about 6 months in a year or 8 months in a year, and 4 months in a year they perform as tamasha actors. So they are both Shramajivi and they are actors. When Fritz Benowitz came to India to do that Caucasian Chalk Circle production, none of them knew anything but Marathi. While Fritz Benowitz knew nothing except German. He did not even know English. And he collaborated with this great lady from Bombay. I am forgetting her name. Anyway, and they produced a play in which there was essential Brecht, but most of it was actually Indian method in acting. You see, it was a brilliant production. It was absolutely scintillating production. And I had asked Fritz Benowitz, much later, I said, how did you manage this? You did not know the language. They did not know the language. They were not trained actors, but they were folk actors. He said, look, we both shared our common sense and we shared the story. And when the story was given to them, they made a brilliant production out of that story. You see, I am saying all this in the context of today's political, social situation. Today's political situation about which we are all scared, because we all think that today's political situation has become right-wing. Now, who has made it right-wing? The majority of the Indian people have voted for a right-wing political party. Why have they done that? They've done that because they are worried, even more than I am worried or you are worried, about Indianness. More than the rosy roti, more than the 30 kg rice that we give, they are worried about Malayalam, Kannada, Punjabi. They are worried about Ram. They are worried about Rahman. They are worried about identity and all that. Now, what have we done to them? Have we actually talked to them? If Indian people, Indian ordinary people were fed with Ramanand Sagar's serial of Ram, and we were doing some idiotic modernist versions of a play for which not even 50 people would come and watch, but we would get full page reviews in Times of India, which those people could not read, but they could watch the serial. So they have voted for somebody who has projected the serial Ramachandra as the thing. Whereas we theatre people, we know what is real Ramachandra, because Mr. Ibrahim Al-Qazi and Mr. Chandradasan, everybody, the first thing we tell the actor is to sweep the floor of the rehearsal space. The first thing we tell is that we should work like a group. The first thing we tell that is that let us not waste money. Let us share our food. Let us share our experience. Let us build a theatre group with minimum money. So I think we understand Ramarajya better than Mr. Narendra Modi. I am not saying this in order to criticize Mr. Narendra Modi. I am saying this in order to criticize ourselves. We are the image makers for this country. Let us not forget that theatre people are very, very, very important for building a nation. We should construct the correct images of gods, of heroes, of ordinary people, of our saints, of our Kabir, of our Vachanakaras. It is our responsibility. We as actors, we as directors, we as playwrights should have done that duty. I want to ask myself, that is why I came to Hegodu. I started doing village work because I realized that I had lost contact with my people. And after 25 years of living in this village, after doing 25 years of only work with handloom weavers and various things, I understand theater better today. I've hardly done any productions. Probably in the last 15 years, I have done 3 productions. Of course, I've worked with actors continuously. I've never left working with actors. I just love working with actors. But I have not done productions. But let me tell you, today I understand what is Indian theater better than all those people who have been doing productions, 2 productions, 3 productions, 4 productions every year in New York, in London, in Bombay, in Delhi, in National School of Drama and all that, because that is not where you can find Indian theater. I am not trying to make this into a, city versus village divide. Sorry, if I'm sounding like that, forgive me. My point is, Gandhiji understood Indianness. Gandhiji was a great actor. Gandhiji, when I say he was a great actor, I am giving him a compliment. I am not trying to pull him down. The Salt Satyagraha, for example. This was a production which lasted for 28 days. And 28 days, Gandhiji, along with his 85 ashram mates, performed a play. And this play went from Sabarmati to Dundee. And in Dundee, they performed the play. They went and dipped themselves early in the morning in the sea, and then picked up the salt and told the world that today the British nation, British imperialism is shaken to its roots. I want to ask you, you're all actors. If you just pick up a little salt and say, today the British imperialism is shaken to its roots, do you think it's a dialogue or reality? It is a dialogue, because British imperialism existed, and it existed for about 25 years after that also. But the point is, Gandhiji had made a brilliant dialogue, and that dialogue came from his heart. And when that dialogue was made, he got audiences not only from the 30 crore people of India. He got the audience from America, from England, from Africa, black people, white people, yellow people. In fact, I don't know whether you have read it. I believe the New York Times, for 15 days, New York Times published reports about the Salt Satyagraha on the front cover page of that newspaper. I don't think any other news before or after has had that sort of a coverage. How did this happen? Let us realize that this is what is expected of us. If we want to become actors, we can't say that, look, sir, I am an actor, but I am not I can't be Gandhiji. I can't say that, look, sir, if this whole country is burning and becoming right-wing and Muslims are killing Hindus and Hindus are killing Muslims, what can I do, sir? I can only go and perform in Kamani Auditorium if somebody sponsors it and if Sangeet Natak Academy gives an award And if National School of Drama gives me a fellowship, then I'm sorry, we are not actors. Habib Tanvir, for example, or Adya Rangacharya, for example, or in Kerala, all your great directors and playwrights, Shankar Pilla, all of them. What were they? How rich were they? What did they do? Are we doing that? When Adya Rangacharya produced his plays himself, he has acted in the play. In one play, in fact, let me tell you, it's a very funny story. Adya Rangacharya and B.V. Karant acted together in one of Adya Rangacharya's plays. And B.V. Karant promptly forgot his lines because they had not rehearsed for enough this thing. And you know Karant. You know Karantji, how he was. And that was theatre because they had spent probably 500 rupees on that production. 500 rupees, nothing more than that. Take Calcutta Theatre, for example. How was it shaped? Who were the audience? Why was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa going to watch theatre? How could theatre inspire Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to see Kali in theatre? You see, these are questions which we have to ask. Then we can go to the post-COVID situation. And I completely believe that in the post-COVID situation, theatre people have a major role to play. Very, very big role to play. If you want to play that big role, become small. Do not try to become Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan is a great actor. I am not making a this thing on Amitabh Bachchan. But actors can become Amitabh Bachchan by becoming small, like Adya Rangacharya, like Karantji, like Badal Sarkar and all that. You see, that is what we need to do. Then people will believe us. I don't know whether you know, as long as Jesus Christ was alive, he probably had half a dozen followers or maybe 24 followers. But the followers he has today, crores and crores of people in hundreds and hundreds of countries, they all happened after he performed that great drama of his going to the temple and attacking those money lenders was a drama. It was a great drama. And that is the drama which built Christianity, because he knew what would happen. When he was arrested and when he was brought about in front of this thing, he did not tell a lie. He said, yes, I have committed this mistake. This is a mistake. Legally, it's a mistake. But I've committed it because God told me that money lenders are bad. In front of the temple of Jerusalem, Jesus Christ performed a great play. And even today, that play is having a reverberation across the world. When Ramachandra went to the forest, when the whole Ayodhya was begging and crawling and saying, don't go, when his own father was saying, please punish me, arrest me, and become the king, Ramachandra said, no, Dasharatha, I have to go to the forest for 14 years, I'll go. He was doing a play. And that play lasted for 14 years. And all the drama that happened in those 14 years, you know, he performed it well. Sita performed it well. Lakshmana performed it well, and at the end of it, people got a great lesson in civility. God Ramachandra is a God who taught us civility through that great play called Ramayana. Ramayana is a play. These were actors. In fact, I am now writing a second book after Indian Method in Acting. And do you know what is the name of that book? I have called it God as Actor. I have not called it actor as God. I have called it God as Actor. All of us should show the God in us. Even if you don't believe God, believe in nature. Express it. Then you become actors. Otherwise, we become cheap. I don't want to use any word because any word will be derogatory, but definitely will not be actors. I would like to stop here because I've only talked theory. I've only talked background. If you want to ask me questions, I will take the question at leisure and then talk technically, because the technical problem of how to become an Indian actor, how to become leaders of the Indian revolution, like Gandhiji, like Sri Ramachandra, like Jesus Christ, is left to you. You are welcome.
सर नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर संतोष त्रिपाठी लखनऊ से।
हाँ
जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार
जी सर, इसमें हमको दो बातें जिस पे आपसे मतलब मैं जानना चाहूँगा। अच्छा रहेगा कि एक तो ये है कि जो हमारा आम जनमानस है और वो जिस तरीके से अपनी रूटीन लाइफ को प्रैक्टिस करता है, जिसमें तमाम सारी बातें जो हैं वो बिल्कुल वो उनके कंसर्न होते हैं, जो उनके मुद्दे होते हैं। बट कई दिक्कत यहाँ पे है कि हमारे जो संवाद का स्तर है वो इतना बौद्धिक और एकेडमिक होता है कि हम उनसे कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाते हैं। एक प्रॉपर रिलेशन उनसे जो डेवलप होना चाहिए, एक जो एक पूरा एक एनवायरनमेंट, जो एक भरोसे का, विश्वास का, बात तो हम जरूर उनकी ही करते हैं, बट उनकी हम प्रैक्टिसेस को शायद समझ नहीं पाते हैं उतनी बारीकी से। उनके जीवन में एक ईश्वर भी है, एक फेथ भी है, और वो उस पे उससे कनेक्ट करते हैं। बट लेकिन उनके जीवन के जो आम रोजमर्रा की समस्याएं हैं, रोजमर्रा के जो इश्यूज हैं, वो वही हैं जो हम कह रहे होते हैं कि भाई आपको ये सिंबॉलिक सांकेतिक राजनीति के नारों से अपने आप को डिसएसोसिएट करना है। इनके ये हमारे खिलाफ काम करते हैं। हम सिंबॉलिज्म में फंस के रह जाते हैं, जिसको आपने ठीक कहा कि आई एंड आइडेंटिटी पॉलिटिक्स पूरी दुनिया में इसका जो है आज जो स्थिति देखने को मिल रही है। इसमें सर इस पे हम आपसे जरूर एक बार चाहेंगे कि हमारे संवाद कैसे हो उनके साथ, और उसमें कैसे हमारी उन जनमानस के मुद्दों और इश्यूज की बातों के साथ हमारा उनका कैसे कनेक्शन उनसे कैसे प्रॉपर एस्टैब्लिश हो। थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है, और आपने भाषा को पे जोर दिया है। भाषा एक है और मुद्दा एक है, the political issues. You are from Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, and from Bihar we have the greatest man who actually made the folk theater of Bihar, Bhikhari Thakur. Now, what have we learned from Bhikhari Thakur? Now, what was Bhikhari Thakur's concern? Why did he write those plays? And now, why is it that the entire Bihar, especially North Bihar, worship him? You see, have we really tried to understand the background of Bhikhari Thakur? Bhikhari Thakur was actually a debentured labor. As a debentured labor, he goes somewhere, वहां से भाग के वापस आ जाता है, और भाग के वापस आके कलकत्ता में थोड़ी देर रहता है, और वहां उसको ये बदलाव आता है, he becomes spiritual. उसके बाद में वो बिहार वापस आके वहां नाटक लिखता है. स्पिरिचुअल होने के बाद वो एक आश्रम नहीं बनाया और पैसा नहीं बनाया. And if you, I have seen, those plays, at least, one of the play I have seen it. It's an amazing play. The play is very simple. It's almost stupid, but it is a play which touches the heart of every woman, every man. You see, we have to, when I'm talking of folk theater, unfortunately, what all we do is folk theater से हम form लेते हैं, उसका मुकुट लेते हैं, या तो भुजकीर्ति लेते हैं, या तो उनका डांस लेते हैं, उसका दिल नहीं लेते हैं, दिल को छोड़ देते हैं. You see, we leave the heart of the folk theater, we leave the technique of the folk actor, but we take all the external factors. So what you are saying is very right. We must concentrate on the people's language. First of all, our theater should start talking in their language. If they use metaphor of Rama, we have to use the metaphor of Rama. There is no question. We can't say that, no, I will talk to you in Latin. उनको Latin नहीं आता है भैया. So that is the problem. Thank you very much.
Prasanna ji, there's a question from CM. CM, who is it? You can directly come in and ask. What he has typed, I can read. He typed, at the end of the first chapter, what is this false base that actor, director like Badal Sarkar and Jerzy Grotowski wanted to remove? That's what he has typed. What is the false base the actor, director like Badal Sarkar and Jerzy Grotowski wanted to remove?
They were, if you read the third theater of Badal Sarkar, it is very clear. He was removing the structures and he was coming back to the actor's body, actor's voice, and actor's mind. And he eliminated everything else. And this is almost the same thing, though their approaches are different, of Grotowski also. Going back to the essential of theater. Because by then, theater had already become driven away from actor. Actor had become small. The director had become big. Playwright had become big. And Badal Sarkar, who himself was a very major playwright, a major director, he brought the importance of actor back to the thing, and actors' senses. Apne body kaha, I would say the senses of the actor. It is, Badal Sarkar's performance and their actors' performance was a very sensuous performance, which also had intellectual content. It is not devoid of intellectual content, but the importance was in the body, in the senses, and in the sensuousness. Thank you.
And another question is from Manoj. You talk about the post-COVID actor and how he will have to become small. That's a question. Can you please elaborate more on this aspect from the point of view of practice? How can a post-COVID actor practice his craft more on a day-to-day life? Please also talk about your thoughts on performing for camera in these times.
Very good question. Do you realize why theater is to be called Little Theater? In Bangalore, the most famous theater group was called Bangalore Little Theater. You see, we were always proud of being Little Theater. It is only cinema and internet and all that which is proud of becoming big. In that sense, I said, we have to become small. Small in the sense that we should go to the community, and we have to go to the community physically, because in theater, actors will have to go actually to the community. When you go there, you will tell them something and they will teach you something. When this process happens, a Jesus Christ or a Gandhi or a Badal Sarkar or somebody will be born, and we don't have to bother about it. We don't have to bother how they will become important. Bhikhari Thakur, how did he become important? They become important. People know how to make you important. You see, let us trust the people. A good actor who performs like that for 25 years, people know how to bring that actor to the fore. Now the question of facing the camera and all that, I know what problems actors today are going through. They have to live, they have to earn. So some of them have gone into Bombay, some of them have gone into Chennai for Tollywood or Sandalwood or Bollywood or whatever wood. I don't criticize them. I sympathize with them. They have to do that. Poor fellows, they cannot just starve. But if you're asking me the question of theater, you have to do little theater. In fact, one of the examples of little theater I can give, now that we are discussing cinema and internet and all that, is Naseeruddin Shah. You see, Naseeruddin Shah actually does little theater. It is really little in the sense that he takes themes where maximum 3 or 4 actors can perform. In fact, usually these days it is only 3, he, his wife and his daughter. And Nasir has now given up performing for cinema, performing for television, and he is concentrating on acting. I think Nasir's stature is growing because of that. But beyond that, I don't want to tell actors today, I don't want to give a call saying that you all give up Bombay, you all give up this, come back and all that. No. Many people have mistaken me like that. Many people think that I am anti-actors in that sense, cinema actors. Irfan Khan, for example. Irfan Khan did a great job. I can't say that simply because Irfan was into cinema and all that, he's a bad actor. You see, these are two different issues. These are issues which we can only resolve in ourselves. I can decide how I am going to perform. Chandradasan can decide how he is going to perform, and you are going to decide how you are going to perform and how you are going to relate to the people, to your language, to your community and all that. Thank you.
A lot of people are watching us on Facebook also, and there are so many questions typed there. I'll just read 1 or 2 questions right now.
Yes.
It's 2 people ask about the contemporary political situation. So nowadays, democracy is at peril by the way of our government is behaving. Can drama and actors change the situation? That's one question from Somendu Bhattacharya. And Kamal Tiwari asked something similar. What do you think of the ruling politicians of the world as actors and their negative effects the life on the world's citizens? So regarding the contemporary political situation, theater, the leaders, the rulers, and their effect on this thing.
Right. I believe, I've read it in some newspapers and in some reports, that today 27 people control 60% of the entire world's wealth. Now, these 27 people are extremely good-looking people, extremely nice-looking people, and also they're donating a lot of money and all that. But this 27 is going to become 26, 24, 20, and eventually, probably, if you allow it, probably 2 or 3 people will control the wealth of the entire world. I want to call it monster economy. These 27 people are monsters. If you ask me this question, what is this, sir? This Mr. Amazon, CEO is such a nice-looking man and he talks so nicely. How can you say he's a monster? I'm talking of the system. Politicians also, for example, I really want to plead with our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and say that, look, you have taken an excellent stand by inaugurating this temple. But that is your first step. Almost on the same day this was done, all our handloom development board, handicraft development board was all abolished. So what I want to ask Mr. Narendra Modi ji is, now take the second step, the third step, the fourth step towards bringing Ram Rajya by not only reviving these boards, handloom development board, handicraft development board, but the Prime Minister himself should sit as the chairperson of that board and declare that this board is the most important board. This board is more important than the board that controls Ambani's and Adani's. And I am going to spend all my energy, all my money, all the taxpayers' money on developing these boards. If he does that, let me tell you, all the theatre people should actually work in every street, wherever you are, doing street plays, and garner support for that. Otherwise, we will have to say, sorry, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, आप क्यों ना राम के नाम ले रहे हो, आप राक्षस हैं. You understand? You see, politician today, they have to decide whether they want to be Ram or Ravan. They want to be Rakshas or this thing. Same with actors. You see, I don't want to make this distinction at all. I don't want to blame only politicians. All of us will have to make this decision. Do we really want to become Ram? Do we want to become Jesus Christ? Do we want to become, at least try? We may not be able to become. Or the prophet as actors. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
And the question is there freedom of expression with dedicated restrictions imposed on artists? It's Dr. Jitendra Palpatil is asking. Is there freedom of expression with dedicated restrictions imposed?
Let us forget about everything else. Let us take COVID. The actual mortality rate in COVID, if you remove those people who would have died because of kidney failure and heart problem or sugar or something, it is such a low percentage that I don't know why we have kept this country under siege, under draconian laws. I would say COVID is a political epidemic. I know of hundreds of my friends who did not go to the doctors, who all had this fever. They decided that we will not decide whether it is COVID fever or regular fever. They simply took some concoctions, some local medicines, and they have got cured. Probably I also went through that. Probably each one of you must have gone through that. You see, it is so easy for a centralized monster system to control people. COVID can become one instrument for controlling people. Desh Bhakti can become another instrument for controlling people. So these are things which we should be careful about and aware of. I don't want to blame any political party. We have seen emergency. Now we have seen COVID emergency. Tomorrow we will see some other emergency. The important thing is, what are we doing in these situations?
And Girish Giri from Kerala, he's asking a question slightly different. He asks you, is there realism in acting? Then what about acting and behavior kind of thing? It's about acting, realism, behaving, etc.
Yes, yes. Indian actors have been great realistic actors. While being realistic, they also were able to transcend to magical realism. So this distinction between realistic acting versus mythical acting or mythology performance, I don't agree that at all. If you have seen any of the folk performers are actually very good realistic actors also. So this distinction is created by somebody, some textbook, some teacher somewhere or something. I don't want to. For example, my image is that I am a realistic theatre director. My Uttaram Charit, people have not seen it. My Shakuntalam, people have not seen it. Or even if they have seen it, they think that I am a method teacher. I'm a westernized teacher. I am a realistic. What can you do? You see, this is something which we should give up. Thank you.
Hello.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, ask.
Sir, I have two questions, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please.
I have two questions, sir.
Yeah.
सर एक तो आपने बताया जो आई एम ए स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम वेस्ट बंगाल, तो आपने बताया कि सर जो हर आदमी एक परफॉर्मर है, तो गांधी जी या फिर नेहरू आपने बताया, तो सर ये वो जो परफॉर्म हम जो एक्टर है, कलाकार है, जो स्टेज में एक्ट करते हैं, उसके बाद जो रियल लाइफ पे आते हैं, तो इसका जो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है, जो हम एक एक्टिंग करते हैं स्टेज पर और उसके बाद हम आते हैं बाहर जो हमारा सोसाइटी में, तो यहाँ पर क्या माने ये भी एक फॉर्म है, ये आपको ये आप कैसे डील करेंगे? और एक सर हम जो सिचुएशन में है, हम कोविड में जो सिचुएशन में है, इसमें के मेथड या फिर जो हमारा मेथड एक्टिंग जो भी है, हाँ जो है सर, तो इसमें क्या हम रियलाइज करेंगे?
Prasanna ji, kindly unmute and talk.
Hello.
Prasanna ji, you are muted. Kindly unmute and talk.
Yeah. ये जो प्रश्न आपने पूछा बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट प्रश्न है. हम स्टेज पे करते हैं तो नाटक कहते हैं, बाहर समाज में करते हैं तो उसको नाटक नहीं कहते हैं, पर समाज में भी, जिंदगी में भी हम बहुत सारे पात्र निभाते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, घर में मैं माँ हूं, बाहर आके मैं मार्गरेट थैचर हूं, प्राइम मिनिस्टर हूं. पुलिस स्टेशन में मैं जाता हूं तो मैं पुलिस इंस्पेक्टर बन जाता हूं, बाहर आता हूं तो एक सादा सिटीजन बन जाता हूं. नाटक इसीलिए है कि ये जो समाज में जो पात्र है उसको कैसे निभाए, वो सिखाने के लिए नाटक है. गांधी जी, Jesus Christ, Sri Ramachandra, they performed their roles with 100% perfection. वो तो पात्र थे. नरेंद्र मोदी जी के लिए एक पात्र है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ दिस कंट्री, निभा रहे हैं. बट नरेंद्र मोदी सिर्फ प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं है, वो एक आदमी भी है.
सर
सुनिए, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी एक कवि भी थे.
आंसर नहीं आ रहा है, कोई नेटवर्क है आपके पास?
सॉरी, I'm not able to get his question.
Sagar,
Hello.
Deepaprada, can you make more clearer? We couldn't get you.
हाँ सर, नहीं, ये प्रॉब्लम है कि नेटवर्क के लिए हम सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है कि सर का जो बात है।
Okay. You can hear it later, maybe from the stream, Facebook live stream.
अच्छा,
The answer is there.
Namaste,
Prasanna?
Prasanna ji. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, namaste. I'm from Rangbhoomi. My name is Suraj. And like during this COVID situation, we have been conducting some online sessions on Habib Tanveer and folk theater importance. And it's been great to see how children are expressing why folk theater is important for us, the messages that they have been conveying through those forms. So my question here is that there are other forms of theater like playback theater, theater of the oppressed, psychodrama. So I would be interested to know how even in ancient India, in our history, there have been various forms of theater where these kind of theater work is done, like playback theater, like theater of the oppressed, like psychodrama.
I don't want to answer these questions because I have really not studied the playback theater or psychodrama or something. So kindly ask this question to somebody who
Sure. If
knows
I
about
may tell just a brief of what it is about.
No. I know that will distract the whole of the thing. But what you said about the first part of your thing, that the children are also fascinated by folk theater, you are 100% correct. Children, in fact, this is the best tool to make children, train children. That is what we have been trying to do in educational theater in education. And all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next question.
There's a question in Facebook and also here. You have talked in past about the narrative difference between Tughlaq and Charandas show. So in today's time, when the world looks dim and people seem to be looking for hope, what kind of narratives you think should take the center stage? It's posted in Facebook by Abhishek and here by Shivam.
You see, Charandas Chor, let me tell you what is the essential point about Charandas Chor. Now, Charandas is a chor. He's a thief. He's a declared thief. And he makes no bones about it and he does thieving. And then when he is offered this particular thing, that, don't do chori because blah, blah, and I know I don't want to go into the details. You see, he sticks to that. And finally, it becomes impossible for him. And then he pleads that, look, this is what has happened, and all that. But finally, he becomes a hero. In the sense, he becomes, in the Sanskrit drama, you have this word for heroes. So the greatness of Charandas Chor play is in the fact that a Charandas, who is a chamar, who is a thief, shows such great character, such great thing, and becomes a great man. So I was not comparing Tughlaq with Charandas Chor. I was just talking about Charandas Chor in that speech I gave on to Lucknow, I think. Thank you.
So the second part of the question is, what kind of narratives you expect at this time to take the center stage?
I don't think we should restrict people by saying only this will do or that will do. Any type of narrative, any type of thing, except that it has to be simple and it has to emanate from the body of the actor, from the mind of the actor. If the actor is very strong in speech and music, let them make that. If they are very strong with acrobatics, let them use acrobatics. The whole point is you express yourself and not express something else.
सर नमस्कार, मैं सबकी बोल रहा हूँ.
Yeah.
सर मेरा एक सवाल है, जो पहला सवाल हुआ था उसी के ऊपर। जब आम लोग, जिसको हम कहते, मतलब जो हम चारों तरफ देख रहे हैं, कॉमन पीपल, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ दिस फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग, लोग और घर में बैठ गए हैं, और घर में जो डोमिनेट कर रहा है वो है टेलीविजन एज मीडियम एंड द न्यूज़पेपर एज मीडियम, और जहां एक ही तरीके के न्यूज हम देख पा रहे हैं। So how a common people can disassociate himself or can find the truth of what is dharma, what is Ram, what is Ravan?
Sauti, we are helpless when such big systems are operative. Let us prepare ourselves. Let us prepare ourselves, and every situation, you see, we have had a very long night. It has been it is like a December night, but the day will have to come. And when the day comes, Southie should be ready to tell the people the truth. During the day, when you tell the truth, they will understand. But today, in the night, you can't go to people, you can't do anything. So don't try that. Prepare yourself. You talk to your friends. This sort of, for example, conversation that you're having, good. Have such conversations, talk to people. Don't accuse anybody. Don't accuse the political dispensation, whether it is Congress or BJP or something. Let us do an introspection.
And somebody's, I think it's, let me see 1 second. Supriyo from Kolkata is asking for a clarification about your mention about Amitabh Bachchan in terms of his popularity and as a big actor, etc. Can you make it a little more clearer what you are?
Yes.
Sir, actually, my question is little bit of not like this. I am waiting for like 1 hour to enter in this Zoom meeting. So you are a big popular director in India and on the world. So you are popular. That's why the people are trying to connect and they are waiting. So you are talking about popularity, like not Amitabh Bachchan, but at the small. But how can we be small if people make us big? Understand?
You see, an actor, we are talking about actor. Actors, when they start, they are small. They should not be feeling bad about being small. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the mindset of an actor. Actors should feel confident to do small things. In the last speech that I gave to some theater people, I said that Corona is the smallest, being. It is even smaller than a bacteria. Because Corona understands that it is the smallest being, it completely, became the most popular actor in the world. Amitabh Bachchan is no match to Corona. I'm saying an actor should realize that he is Corona, that he's a very small this thing, and start operating, and then things will happen. That's what I'm trying to say. So you see, Amitabh Bachchan is a very, very good actor. There's no question about it. But today's actor, a young actor, 21-year-old actor, if he tries to imitate Amitabh Bachchan, he will neither become Amitabh Bachchan nor become Corona.
And Anakha Deshpande is asking in Facebook, is it necessary for an actor to connect his theater with a particular ideology? What if he do not match that of the playwright's ideology?
No, she is right. There is no need for connecting with any particular ideology. You have to connect it with yourself, your life experience, your background, your social background, your personal background, and all that. And then it will come. You see, This is not, we are not talking of anti-politics or anti-ideology. You don't have to become ideological in order to do that. You are right. Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you.
And
Good
another question.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, proceed.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Spiti Uday. I'm from Noida, and I wanted to ask, like you said, that an actor should do what he feels he's like. For example, if he can do acrobatics, he should do that. If he knows music, he should do that. So I wanted to know that should an audience be a factor in deciding, or should they tweak it in a way, should the actor tweak it in a way that it is more relatable to the particular audience, or should the actor be true to himself, so that will make the audience relate?
And there's
Very good
another question. No, there's another question connected with this thing. It's from Meeta Mishra, again from Delhi. She's asking how to train a common man as new actors. So I think these two things are some relation in between. What sort of training to be done?
You see, the first question and the second question, what I meant by saying what I said is that you enter with your advantage. Don't enter with your disadvantage. You know, if you are a good dancer, that is your advantage. Use that as the door to go inside theater. But after you have gone inside theater, you can't just go on dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing. You should also learn to sing. You should also learn to stand. You should also learn to sit and to do every other thing. You see, what I meant is that. So in actor training also, for example, the second question, you should train actors from their strength. Don't make them feel inferior. Don't make them feel insecure. If an actor has a, like EMS Namboodiripad, he had this thing, don't make them self-conscious. EMS Namboodiripada's greatness was not, he was not self-conscious at all. Similarly, if you are training an actor and suppose the actor is slightly dark in complexion, suppose their accent is Bihari. If I start telling them, oh, no, you're a Bihari accent, you're bad, that actor, poor fellow, will just die. So encourage their strength and then guide them beyond the strength and say, look, bhaiya, तुमने बहुत अच्छा डांस करते हो, थोड़ा music भी सीख लो. That is what I meant. Thank you.
And there's a question regarding from the book you're writing, The God as Actor, and how you bring the important people in the concept of actor. Can you elaborate a little more as the concept of acting and actor?
You see, this is a book where, actually, this is a book which, on the one hand, tries to understand Natya Shastra. On the other hand, it tries to understand Stanislavski. But most important, it tries to provide a method for Indian actors. And that method, I believe, is an Indian method. And our strength is that, unlike the Semitic cultures, we negotiate with God in a different way. God and actor, you see, the negotiation is a fascinating thing. If you go to Yakshagana, for example, an audience who come into the theater, before he comes into the theater, he will do a bit of jugad. He will do a bit of drinking. All that is there. But once he enters this stage, auditorium, and watches the play, he will prostrate before the God. He will actually see God in that actor. And then when he comes out with the same actor, he can also fight with him and say, you did not perform very well there. you did not do that scene and all that. You see, this negotiation is what I'm trying to work out. And using this negotiation, how are we going to develop Indian method is what I'm trying to understand.
Then
सर एक प्रश्न था, पूछूं?
हाँ, पूछिए
हेलो
पूछिए.
हाँ सर, बता रहा हूँ कि ये कोविड-19 में जो प्रॉब्लम है. हेलो,
You know,
Proceed,
I
proceed,
think one
proceed.
should avoid
Hello?
the second question. Let people ask questions. Second question avoid completely.
so many questions already typed in this Zoom box. I'll read at least a few of them.
Then Chandradasan, you please continue. Let us avoid two questions from the same person.
Okay. Isha is asking, among so many principles and theories, how do we, the young theatre artists, find our own path of beliefs regarding the content and the correct image of characters we portray? Because ultimately, as you said, it's our responsibility to do. Isha, if you want to clarify the question, you are free to do that.
Yes, sir.
I think, tell me.
Yes, I was just asking that as we young theater artists, we study Stanislavski, we study the Natya Shastra. There are so many principles and theories. So somewhere or the other, we find ourselves confused about what to believe and what our beliefs should be. And as an actor, as you said, it's our responsibility to clarify our theories and present it in a way that the audience could understand and interpret them. So how do we do that? How do we clarify ourselves?
And there's a related question asking you to what you think about the relevance of Natya Shastra. That's also related.
Yeah, Isha, your problem and my problem and all of us, we are too serious. We want to first understand Stanislavski and then go on stage. We want to first understand Natya Shastra and then go on stage. Whereas theater says, first enjoy playing the play. Have you enjoyed playing the play well? If you have enjoyed it, then you will understand Natya Shastra automatically, you will understand Stanislavski automatically, and you will take what you need to take from all of them. Theater is there to enjoy. That is why children are the greatest actors. Children enjoy doing drama. In fact, children do drama inside their house. We should also become like children. First, enjoy theater. You enjoy performing on stage. If you are a girl, it is not possible for you to do many things. So on stage, put a mustache and, roar. Good. A woman suddenly feels a liberation. That enjoyment is what is most important about theater. You must enjoy doing a play. You must enjoy performing a play. You must get out of your inhibitions, your, various insecurities. And then all these other things will come. Don't worry about it.
And there are two other questions related to the writing on theater right now. One is from Vijay. He asks, what are your thoughts on theater criticism in India today? Does it exist? Or if it does, is in a healthy state? Most importantly, how can theater practitioners, actors, directors, teachers help make use theater criticism more robust? And the second question is from Kanika Nagar. She is in the Zoom. She writes, we read books that are written about theater and get an idea about the technicalities of theater. But in this, we sometimes become very technical in nature and lose the essence of it. So how do you overcome this barrier? The questions are different, but it's connected about writing in theater and theater criticism.
I lost the first question. Please read it, and I want to take only that question.
The first question is about The first question is about theatre criticism in India. Does it exist? And if it exists, is it in a healthy state? And what should the theatre practitioners help make theatre criticism more robust?
You see, theatre criticism is a very difficult thing to do because, first of all, theatre is ephemeral. Do you understand this word ephemeral? Kshana bhangur. It just exists for a few seconds and then it goes. You've seen the actor and then the actor comes out and you don't know what he has done. Only in your memory can theatre survive. Whereas literary criticism is something where you have a text and it becomes text-based, and comparison between different texts and all that, historicity and all that is possible. So in India for a long time, literary critics became theatre critics. And literary critics could not understand the significance of performance. But we must try and change the situation. But let me tell you, we should not bother too much about criticism, because that when it happens, it will happen. And let me also tell you, take for example, France. Now France considers Molière as their greatest cultural icon. For French people, Molière is like our Rabindranath Tagore. For French people, Molière is like Tolstoy for Russians. For French people, Molière is like Vallathol or Kumaranashan or something. Now, Molière is just a farce playwright. So as a playwright, it is not the thing. It is the theatre which made him great. So, we should leave that. And if we do as good a theatre as Molière, then people will lift me. If you are asking me about today's literary, theatre criticism, it is in a very bad state because they hardly can compare. Now, how can you compare me with Bansi Kaul, or me with Chandradasan, or me with Shankar Pilla? There is hardly any evidence of what Shankar Pilla did to this man. He has not seen Shankar Pilla. At the most, what they do is some critics who stay in Delhi start comparing productions of Delhi. But what about a production that happens in Timbuktu? They don't know. So we shouldn't bother too much about it. Thank you.
And about the second question, when you read books on theatre, it's all about technicalities of theatre. So sometimes, become very technical in nature and lose the essence of it. So how do we overcome the barrier of understanding beyond the technicality of doing?
I have already answered this question. You should enjoy theatre.
Yeah.
You should, become a group. You should have your own audience, start interacting with your audience, develop your technique, and then go to books. Don't start with the books. If you start with the books, you will become a bad Pandit, not even a good Pandit. You will become a bad Pandit and you will get scared and you will lose your capacity to enjoy theatre.
Well, Parshvati is asking, does training in classical Indian arts and folk performance tradition help the contemporary Indian actors' craft?
There is a difference between classical and folk training and our training. There it is culture based. From childhood, a child starts dancing Yakshagana or Kathakali and they pick up and all that. In modern theatre, there is supposed to be a certain method to train them. There is nothing wrong with doing methodological training, but you should not get stuck with the method. We should not get too formal. You should do it organically like the folk performers do. Folk performer is very organic. They start performing small roles and then pick up. Shakespeare did that. I don't know whether you know about it. Shakespeare went from a small town to London, joined a theatre company, and started doing all sorts of work. And then suddenly they realized that this man has some talent for writing plays. So they gave him plays to write, and he became the greatest playwright. He did not depend on a theatre critic or a literary critic or somebody to guide him. In fact, there is an evidence. During Shakespeare's time, all those people who knew Latin, the other playwrights who knew Latin, had gone to Oxford and Cambridge, they were all his contemporaries, they all rejected Shakespeare. They all thought that Shakespeare was a bloody upstart. Shakespeare was undaunted. He said, yes, I am an upstart, but let me keep doing it because I have nothing else to do. If I go back home, there is nothing for me. And he kept on doing it, and he became the greatest playwright of English-speaking world. And all those Latin-knowing, Oxford and Cambridge people who were also writing plays, who were also quite popular at that time, nobody even remembers their name.
Sir, can I ask a question, Chandra sir? I wanted to, very interesting about the folk theatre. Here, children in our metro cities have an idea of occupying public spaces, like idea of stage versus the audience. While we see in Kashmir, like Ban Pather or Chhattisgarh Nacha, there is no distance, or Ram Leela in Uttar Pradesh, there's no wall between the audience, they merge. So if you can talk a little about that, for especially the children in metros who have a strange idea of space in theatre.
This is a question which cannot be answered quickly. But let me tell you that there is a lot of wrong notion about spaces. For example, we all think that Western theatre is indoor theatre. And we think that Indian theatre is an outdoor theatre. Isn't it? Actually, it is the opposite. Kalidasa wrote plays for an indoor theatre. Bhasa wrote plays for an indoor theatre. Bhavabhuti wrote plays for an indoor theatre. And those indoor theatres were very small because those days you could not build big structures. Maximum capacity of audience would be 100 or 120 people. Whereas Western theatre till 16th century was done in the open. From Greek days onwards, and especially after Greek days, the whole Roman theatre and those morality plays and pageants and all that were completely open, this thing. So we have wrong notions, So don't get into this. If you have an indoor space, let the children do indoor theatre. If you don't have an indoor space, if you are doing it in some village where the school has an angan, angan mein kar lijiye. I don't think you should bother too much about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Dr. Nagaraju Pagai has asked about Indian roots of method acting. I think he can come in and ask it directly. It's a very valid question.
Yes.
Dr. Nagaraju, please.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, sir. So actually in India, most of the acting trainers, they establishing themselves as they are following Indian roots of theatre, but they are trying to copy the Western roots of theatre. So I would like to know whether they are confused with Indian method acting or they are misleading Indian method acting. That's what I would like to know from the sir. Sir?
I really could not understand the question, but let me tell you that this Western and Indian, first of all, we should not take, I told you, we did not know, for example, that Stanislavski used yoga training. We did not know that he was adopting pranayama and all that for his actors. So let us forget about it. Let us say that we and our theatre, our technique is the best. To say that, we have to work. The problem with Indian theatre, let me tell you what, Indian actors, we are a bloody lazy lot. We don't go into details. You know why Western theater has succeeded? They're hardworking and systematic. More than hardworking, they're systematic. You see, they convert everything into a system because they're market driven. That is their success. Indian actors have great talent, but you don't know when they will go and get drunk and when they will rehearse. You don't know whether they will rehearse for 15 days or 10 days. Stanislavski became great because every play they worked for 6 months. They rehearsed for 6 months. Are we willing to do that? Instead of doing that, we are reading books and we are trying to decide whether I should become a Western actor or an Indian actor. You become an actor, hardworking actor, and develop your own system. You see, each situation needs its own system. I'll tell you one example. Broadway has this facility for doing preview shows. After they have done the shows, you know, the show is ready, they will go to Chicago or some other and perform and find out what is the response and then again rehearse and then open it in Broadway. That is a system there. Now, can you introduce that system in Kerala or in Andhra Pradesh? We can't. So we should evolve our own system, our own method, but whatever we evolve, we should do it very, very systematically and hardworking. All the great directors who have emerged in India, they were very hardworking. Habib Tanvir, I have seen him at the age of 75 when he came to Udupi, you know, in Sikandra. The man was trying to tie the lights and the entire Udupi theatre people were horrified because they were, you know, worried that this man may fall down from the ladder and die. So we should become. Thank you.
And Manvita Baradi is asking you, can you elaborate with reference to your work on community engagement and the use of theatre as a tool? How do you use theatre as a tool and engage the community? What's your working experience?
Manvita, you know that better than I know. Why are you asking me this question? You have done community theatre and done it beautifully. You should talk about it. I have recently been doing it, for example, with the women of Charkha. I have done a couple of productions. I have enjoyed it very well. Community theatre is very important, but beyond that, in today's talk, I don't think I'll be able to talk in detail.
And then Shivam is asking for a clarification. He's asking to elaborate a little more notion about the small and little in the post-COVID world. For example, when you're speaking about Naseeruddin Shah, he needs a little more clarity. With all respect, I have seen his plays and it's staged in big theaters. So the performances happened in big theaters as big events, and you mentioned it as small, etc. So what's the clarification? What exactly what is reference? That's what he's asking. If you there in the room.
Thank you for asking this question. Thank you. You are right. Naseeruddin Shah performs in big theater, but he performs in very small theaters. But the point is, we are talking about what is small. You know, for example, there is a book called Small is Beautiful by a great scholar called Shoemaker. The Shoemaker wrote an entire book on small as beautiful. And unfortunately, in fact, I was angry with that book for only one small reason. He did not take the example of theatre. He should have taken the example of theatre to show why small is beautiful. Theatre is always small because it is real. Real actors performing for the real audience. It cannot be big. So let us not get to other things. I know, Nasir, even I will perform, if theater, what can I do? If they only have a big theater. But the point is, what about your production? If your production itself says that you will need 250 acres of land and 20 bulldozers to produce that play, that is wrong. Thank you.
There's so many questions regarding approaches to acting, etc. I'll read one or two. To what extent does the potential of an actor's training in complete isolation can extend? About the extent of actor training and his potential. It's Kamal who's asking that question.
When it comes to actor training, it cannot be an isolated situation. One of the best theater groups as far as actor training is concerned is this Pondicherry group of this great lady, I'm forgetting her name,
Veena Pani?
who died.
Veena Pani Chawla.
Veena Pani Chawla. Veena Pani Chawla's group, if you have seen their performance, their acting training is first rate because they've always trained themselves as a group. The entire group trains itself. The entire group develops their techniques, the skills and all that. That is how you should do, because the group is yours, the space is yours, you know how much you can work, you know how much you cannot work, and that's the best way to train. Thank you. Adi Shakti Pondicherry, thank you.
Ayush Gupta is asking you. Ayush Gupta, you can directly come and ask. Ayush, are you there? He's asking about the dramatic action is anything but...
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, come on.
Hello, sir. So, in your book, fourth chapter, you wrote...
Yeah.
Ayush, continue. Others, please mute. Ayush, are you there asking the question?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, now.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, sir. So my question was on the fourth chapter. Actually, you wrote that dramatic action is anything but irrational. It is anything but illogical. So kindly please comment on this statement. I was seeking your perspective on this.
Okay, good, very good question. You see, actors' intention, the intention of an actor is to become natural. But when he starts, he should start completely mechanically. The first day of rehearsal is very mechanical. You should not feel bad that it is very mechanical. The first day of the blocking, you have to laugh somewhere. You should laugh mechanically. Ha, 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 ha. That's all. Don't try to do it naturally. And then gradually, as the rehearsal progresses, as these mechanical things become natural to you, then the character emerges naturally from you. But if you try to be natural on the first day of the rehearsal, you will be gone. Because the first day you don't know the character. The first day you don't know how much to laugh, how less to laugh. The first day you don't know how much to weep or how less to weep. So don't try to be natural during the early rehearsals. The early rehearsals are a very, very mechanical rehearsal. Reading of the play, for example, it has to be done very mechanically in the sense that it is a textbook. It's a printed book. Follow full stop, follow comma. Read it like you read a book. Don't try to emote it. If you try to emote it on the first day, you will be emoting it wrongly. either over emoting or under emoting. This is what that chapter, the 4th chapter says. Don't try to become dramatic on the first day. Be yourself, and you know that that character has not reached you. Just read it as line. If you have to smile, just smile very mechanically. If you have to weep, just weep mechanically. That way, then gradually the day of the performance, you will be so stupendous, so natural that people will be stunned at your performance. Thank you.
Okay, so I wrote one more question. Sorry to interrupt. You wrote that.
Can we avoid 2 questions? I have 2 questions we are avoiding because people should have an opportunity.
Okay.
Sorry, I've one other young person also. I discouraged him from the second question.
Yeah, and in Facebook, Ananya is asking something else. She's asking, what are the strategic methods to save our local theatre groups economically? What to do with the economical situation of the local theatre groups?
Become economical. Don't become money driven. Simple. There is answer in your question. You have to become economical. Don't depend, for heaven's sake, on government grants. They will corrupt you. They will destroy you. Even the most revolutionary government will kill you as a theatre person. Become economical. People will support you. Don't worry. I've never seen people not supporting a good theatre group. It will take time, of course. It will maybe take 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Thank you.
And Vishwajit Shinde, is there any question? No, it's a comment. It's a wonderful day. Shivam we have answered. And Subhash Rawat asking, major part of drama in education or applied theatre work does not ask or expect the participants to act. How much you value this process-oriented work?
I think that theatre in education is the most important applied activity for theatre today. It is an activity which will have such a large significance for India, So we should spend all our time, all our energy on theatre in education. And also do our regular theatre. I'm not saying we should neglect regular theatre, but I think all of us should contribute towards theatre in education. Thank you. Chandradasan, the last question. I'm getting a little tired.
Okay. Sorry to hold you. So let me see whether something. So there are a lot of questions which already have the answers you have already mentioned. So maybe if anybody feels something very important to ask, you can come in and ask.
Just one.
Yes.
Sir, don't you think that an ideal theatre artist should live in a suitable ambience? And in that context, will you please brief a bit on the village Hegadu?
Yeah, that's very good.
Sorry, the second part of the question I didn't hear. The Hegodu part.
An artist can very well perform if he is living in a suitable ambience. That is what I said. So in that context, you can very well speak about Hegodu.
Hegodu is like Kerala, not very much different. Kerala is, in fact, used to be better than Hegodu, but now because too much of urbanization, Kerala is getting destroyed. But you see, the ambience is very important. The atmosphere is very important. But a theatre person creates a good atmosphere wherever they are living. So a theatre person living in Lucknow will make that little street in Lucknow better than other streets, or the rehearsal hall better, or in Delhi or in Bombay. So it is your capacity to make the atmosphere better. Atmosphere is not just physical atmosphere. Physical atmosphere also you should clean it, but it is also mental atmosphere. How well are you communicating with each other? How well is the group well knit? These are the things. And if we achieve that, then your theater will become 50% better or 60% better. Thank you.
So with that, I think we have to wind up today's session, and there's a lot of other questions regarding acting, characterization, new method to emerge. What do you think about postmodern theater? All these things are there. If you want to comment anything, you can do it, or otherwise, we have to keep this dialogue going on. We have to ask the questions to ourselves. We have to ask the questions mutually. We have to find out answers. And even if you don't find any answer, we have to keep on doing what we feel which is right at the moment. But I'm extremely, extremely thankful to Prasanna being with us. And we all enjoyed, and it's a big crowd inside Zoom, and almost some another 50 or more people watching you live in Facebook. It will reach more people in a few days. It will reach close thousands. I'm glad that everybody came in, and next week we have Rashi Benny from Mumbai. She's a very energetic actor. She does a lot of theater. She's trained in theater, but she does her own kind of theater, mostly solos. Done a lot of work with Aravind Kaur in Delhi, and then she has her own group named Banjara. She has done the productions like Madhavi, Asa One Man Show, etc. She is there to talk about the energy in theater and energy and theater. So I think Rashi is hiding somewhere and hearing, and she's in the Zoom conference also, in this session also. So love to see the same kind of rush next week also. Let's keep together. And what else, Prasanna? And us,
we should end up with the music.
Just one more sentence from me. We have a WhatsApp group here, and if you want to get informed about the activities, means what's happening in this talk series, and information of these things, you can give your name and telephone number, type there. We will add you, and you will get the notification right there. And so many people have done it. But if you are not, do it. So I have to thank Abhilash, especially the Gram Sahib Sangh activist, for being in between me and Prasanna. Means we are very close since the days of School of Drama. When Changrapilla was there, Prasanna used to come there. We had to start meeting there and met so many occasions. But to get connected with him is a little difficult, as many of us know. He don't use a telephone, mobile. So it's Abhilash who made this possible, connecting between him and us and this seminar. Thank you, Abhilash, a lot. And thank you, Prasanna. We are looking forward for that second book. And for the theatre, which you are going to do very soon. I know you have started doing theatre in the adaptation of The Mother.
I think we should end up with the music. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Prasanna sir. Hello. Hello, yes. Sir. Amit here. Amit Pathak here.
Amit.
Don't you think we should end up with the music? Your play Uttar Ramcharitam.
Please, Amit.
I would love to sing a song from Uttar Ramcharitam. Vyah hai jab sab bhai.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Just wait. एक है सर का उत्तर रामचरितम, जिसमें मैं राम करता था, और उसका एक गीत है ब्याह है जब सब भाई। वो तब है जब सीता जो है वो प्रेग्नेंट है और अपने फादर के वापस जाने की वजह से उदास है, और राम आता है उसके पास और उसको कुछ कहता है, और तुरंत लक्ष्मण आकर कहता है कि भैया 14 वर्षों का जो वनवास का जो चित्र है वो चित्रकार ने बनाया है। और जब राम देखते हैं तो बहुत भावुक हो जाते हैं। तो ये उस क्षण का म्यूजिक है, उस क्षण का गीत है। मैं चाहूंगा गाने को गाने मतलब उसकी हेलो
Yes, yes.
am I
please.
audible
Yes, you are.
सॉन्ग है ऐसे कि
You're audible. You're audible. Come on, Amit.
या हेलो
Yes.
ब्याह है जब तब भाई अछत तात सुख प्रदाचरण मुदित दुलारती माई कहाँ हमारे दिवस छिटकी जिह गोल कपोलानी पे बिखरी अलके झलके घुंघरारी हृद कुंद कली समबारी सी बैस की होरी धरे मुख पर छवि प्यारी टूटी देह सुभाई विलास भरी ससी की खरी जीती लई उजियारी निजलोल कपोलनी डोलनी सो मम मायनुमोद बढ़ावन हारी थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you, Amit. It's wonderful.
Thank you very much.
The best way to finish this. Prasanna, your last words. We are waiting for the last words from you.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful session, and I really liked it. I'm very touched by the enthusiasm that I see in theatre. I am expecting great days in theatre, and I'm willing to do whatever little I can to make those great days in theatre even greater than that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
When the COVID situation finishes and when we can travel, please come to Logadharmi and stay with us for a few days.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you all. And I have to thank the technical team behind Sudhir Babu, Shobha Menon, Shaji Joseph, etc., who have made this session possible. Thank you all. See you next week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all. Now we are going to end the session. See you all next week.